So the Postgres Foreign Data Wrapper did have to get updated for this, right? Because there was parts of that new query node that had to go into core Postgres, and then part of it also had to go into Postgres FDW. But the way it was developed, as with many of the other things that we do, that FDW was able to take advantage of the improvements in core, and other FDWs could as well. Right, so you could actually do the same kind of farming out to other systems, with like the FDWs for Google or for Redis or for whatever, right? I mean, there's lots of FDWs out there, but those other FDWs, I do believe, will have to be updated to be able to leverage this new async execution append node. Every time you have to compile a new foreign data wrapper, but this is a optional thing that the foreign data wrapper can get, right? It doesn't have to provide this capability, so it shouldn't be something that breaks the existing stuff. But I think most of the foreign data wrappers out there are going to want to be able to take advantage of this, right? Because it's a massive new capability that it's going to be awesome if you have multiple foreign servers involved in a single query, right? Being able to farm all of those queries out at once and then just kind of come back and collect them up is fantastic. I mean, there's certainly a lot of things. One of the wishful thinkings that I've got is transparent data encryption, right? It's something that I've been working with various folks in the community on. We actually had a great dialogue about it while I was here in Vienna about it, with Bruce and Magnus and of course Hans and Hans as well, chatting through what we think is going to be needed to really be able to move that forward. And I think I think it was a good dialogue. I think everybody is got a better feeling for it now and a better plan moving forward. So I'm really excited about that coming up. Now that is not likely to be something that we'll get into. It's a large piece of work. I don't know that it's going to actually get in for 15. We'll see. But I think now we're going to be able to get people really, kind of jump-started back into it and get more people excited about moving it forward. Other things that I really want to see moving kind of even beyond what we're talking about here, like I'm really also excited about the idea of being able to do partial aggregates with foreign servers. Right now, we aren't able to do partial aggregates with foreign servers. We have all of the understanding of how to do partial aggregates and finalized aggregates thanks to the parallel aggregation work. But now we need to really figure out a way to be able to push some of that down to the remote server so that we can do a partial aggregate on the remote server and then feed that back to doing a finalized aggregate on the local server. So that, again, we have like the asynchronous append node, right, which is going to help a lot of queries and be able to speed things up that way when you have multiple servers involved. But in order to really get to some of the large-scale aggregation opportunities for doing a massive massive aggregation across lots of servers, we really need that ability to be able to push down partial aggregates to those remote servers. So that's another thing that I'm hopeful will be worked on here in future releases, 16, 17 probably kind of timeframes. But that's also something I'm really excited about seeing. I'm also excited about some of the improvements that I hope to be able to make around continuing the work of minimizing the requirements for super user, right? Making it so that we don't have to be super user for everything. We've got some work on that happening now in the community, and there's some work that hopefully will even get into 15 around this, of making it so that you can have other roles that are able to do things without being super user. In particular, one of the things is be able to do alter system and be able to change some of the configuration variables that way without actually having to be super user, which would be a really nice thing to be able to do. That it's not something that we support today. So I think we are always interested in that, right? I think we're always interested in kind of trying to cover everything, right? I mean, we are the world's most advanced open source database, and that means dealing with both analytical as well as transactional workloads. And I think that, especially these improvements with the async append and the ideas of doing things like partial aggregates on foreign servers, I think do help us in the analytical space. But there certainly are other improvements that are happening on the transactional space. I'd really like to see, unfortunately I don't know that anybody's working on it, but I'd like to see more work done around JIT, just-in-time compilation. That is some really neat capability that we have there, but we've really only scratched the surface of what we can do there, right? Some of the things that are certainly possible with that are actually caching, right, a JIT, right? So if we do tuple deforming, right, so we basically write some code to do tuple deforming. Today we do that and we compile it and we run it with JIT and then we throw it away at the end of that query, right? There's no reason why we have to do that though. We could actually store that somewhere longer term so that we can just come back and reuse it rather than throwing it away and having to redo it, right? And I think that would be a really nice improvement that would allow us to avoid a lot of the startup costs when it comes to doing JIT. So that would be another thing, and that would help, it would help both on the transactional and on the analytics workloads.